Dear Rescue 911, had it not been for your show, we would have lost our baby
Had
girl.
Michael not known what to do, Stephen would have bled to death.
He's seen other kids on there do these things in emergency situations.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
And she wasn't breathing. I had to help her.
And I knew I had to do something.
Just feel emergency service.
Every second counted.
Who would ever think that you'd have to deliver a young kid?
Even being that young, they can learn things.
Has he got his blood pressure? Was he breathing?
I said, call 911, Angie's dead. She's drowned.
Then the 911 special dealing with strangers got the message across.
Everyday people helping other people.
Any one of us could have panicked.
You can't let this boy die.
I think the Rescue 911 saved my life.
A television program's success can be measured in many different ways. Ratings, awards, reviews. For us, the most important measure has been in lives. I'm William Shatner. During the first 3 years of Rescue 911, more than 100 lives have been saved as a result of what viewers have learned from watching this program. Tonight, in a special episode, we're paying tribute to all those people whose lives were saved and the everyday heroes who, inspired by our program, took action to try and make a difference. We begin on the afternoon of October 17th, 1991, in Stillwater, Oklahoma, as 17-year-old Jamie Scavona and her best friend, Heather Walter, were heading home from a local shopping mall along a route they had traveled many times before.
Kids do not realize that when they get behind the wheel of a car, that they take not only their life, but other lives in the palm of their hand.
That sounds good.
Jamie was a very careless driver. She drove much too fast. She never would wear her seatbelt. She was driving down I-35, and she was not paying attention to what she was doing.
I remember rolling, I don't know how long. I remember coming to a rest and thinking I didn't want to move. I just wanted to lay there because I was in so much pain. I started looking around and Jamie wasn't there. And then I saw her hand come up from under the truck. That scared me to death because it was all bloody.
Mark Gardner was on his way to catch a plane when he saw the truck crash.
I run across the freeway, and I seen a teenage girl crawling out of the passenger side. Lay down, lay down, lay down. Out of the corner of my eye, I seen the other girl, and the truck was laying on top of her. She was bad. I mean, if I didn't do something, she was going to die because she could not breathe. I pictured my daughter under that truck, and it scared me. I was just going to try to lift the truck a little where she could breathe. But when I started up with it, I just kept on going. I don't know if it was just fright, adrenaline, or what, but I did it. She was having a real hard time breathing. It sounded like she was drowning in her own blood.
By this time, other people had also stopped to try and lend a hand.
I had to help her, but I didn't know what to do. And I kept asking, does anyone know anything about first aid? Everyone kept telling me no.
Anybody know first aid?
One of the passing motorists used his mobile phone to call for help. From more than 15 miles away, rescue units with the Guthrie Fire Department were dispatched, including EMT Chuck Bircher.
That's kind of a bad zone right in there. It's a long ways off. Your response time is lengthened by going there. It's usually just not very good news when you go up there.
I was reassuring her to just hold on and relax. And then she quit breathing on me. There was one man in the crowd. He said, well, it looked like she's gone. And I looked up at him and said, by God, she ain't, because I'm not going to let her go. I didn't know anything about first aid, but I watched Rescue 911. and I held her nose and breathed into her mouth like I'd seen on TV. She responded by giving me a big old I didn't know if I was going to have to do it again, but I was relieved to know that she was breathing again.
I could hear her and trying to breathe. I was concerned because I knew she had asthma really bad. So I told the people that she needed her inhaler.
Some lady in the crowd had got her inhaler out, but I wasn't about to give her any inhaler because I don't know what the inhaler does. I didn't want to put nothing in her. You know, I just wanted to keep her breathing until somebody with experience got there.
Within 8 minutes of the accident, an Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper arrived on the scene.
I asked the police officer, I said, can you talk to the ambulance? Ask them, can I give her some inhaler?
The trooper radioed to the medic unit en route and spoke with EMT Mike O'Connor.
I told him that would be fine to use her inhaler, but I wanted him to monitor her use. I didn't want her using it excessively. It's a life-threatening situation. People have died because of asthma attacks.
Jamie, can you hear me? Went to the police officer and told him, I've got to catch a plane in 35 minutes. I've got to go. I left my address, phone number, and I was gone.
She was in severe respiratory distress. Her lips were a little blue. She was having a real hard time getting any air movement at all. She was having a big-time asthma attack.
17-year-old Jamie Scavona was taken to Stillwater Medical Center, where she was examined by emergency physician Douglas Wilsey.
A chest x-ray showed that she had a collapsed lung and was not moving air because of her asthma. Those two things were responsible for her breathing problems. And she had multiple other problems, left collarbone fractures and a left knee laceration and injury, and blood in her urine, confirming a severe trauma to the abdomen.
Jamie was hospitalized for 2.5 weeks. Today, despite her asthma, she's in good health.
If she had stopped breathing for several seconds, it was reasonable to assume that she was in the process of dying. And his rescue breathing probably did play a role in saving her life, that and removing the truck from her.
I pretty much owe everything to him. If he hadn't showed up, you know, I wouldn't be here today. To me, he is a hero.
I feel that I gave her back something that was fixing to be taken away from her, and it made me feel good. Hey, we buddies now. Believe me, villains don't always wear black.
He and Jamie have developed a bond that nothing will ever change. I'm really, really glad that he was on I-35 that day.
I feel like I've been given a second chance, and I learned to value life a little bit more, take things a little more seriously, wear my seatbelt, and don't drive so fast.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to get into first aid. That's fixing to happen. I'm fixing to go work on the dummies, you know. I learned a big lesson. Don't be afraid to stop and help. You can make a difference.
Dear Rescue 911, I'm a single parent with a 2.5-year-old daughter, Allison, who is my life. One of the episodes dealt with an electrical cord from a light in the child's room catching fire. During the program, one of the firefighters explained how everyone should check their wiring periodically. I immediately went into her room and checked the heater wire. When I moved the dresser, I found where the wire had burned through, charred the back of the dresser as well as the wall, and the plug into the receptacle was partially melted. I can't tell you how I felt when I discovered this and what could have happened had I not been watching the program that night. I honestly sat down in the middle of the floor with her in my arms and cried. There aren't words enough to express my gratitude. Thanks again. Sincerely yours, Melissa Lindsay.
For most of us, our homes seem so safe, we could never imagine them posing a serious threat to our lives. But on December 19th, 1989, while moving into a new house in St. Louis, Missouri, Glenn and Annie Murphy discovered that what appears safe can be deceiving.
We were in and out moving boxes. My wife, my baby daughter, and myself.
Well, are you happy we're here in your new house?
My other kids were at school. While we were moving, my wife had gotten chilly in the house and asked me would I like the furnace.
Got it. Now you got heat.
The rest of the day, I was in and out, in and out. My wife and my baby daughter was staying, straightening out stuff as I brought it in.
Around 4, Glenn returned to the new house after picking up their other children from school.
And I blowed the horn for my wife to open the door. And it took her so long to answer the door that I thought maybe she was asleep.
Why didn't you open the garage?
She was saying her eyes and nose was burning. She complained of a headache. She was weak and nauseated.
Lay down there a little while.
It didn't register to me because she was healthy all during the day. I just thought maybe she was tired.
By 6:30 that evening, Annie had taken a turn for the worse.
She called me and told me I better take her to the hospital because she thinks she's dying.
Glenn left his 14-year-old son Dominic at home in charge of the 3 younger kids.
On the route to the hospital, she said, I feel better already.
When Annie checked into the emergency room, she was told she would have to wait her turn to see a doctor.
While we were sitting there, Rescue 911 came on.
It's coming on. You want me to turn you around so you can see it?
Being that was my favorite program, my husband wheeled me around in a wheelchair to watch it.
That Sunday morning was cold and wet. Bob and Magda Brown were at home, catching up on household chores.
I say, hey, something is wrong. It's cold here. So right away I know that the furnace is not working. We find the pilot light is off, and then Magda has to start lighting it.
The people that were on the program was going through the same procedures we had went through to light the furnace.
All of a sudden, she says, oh my God, I don't feel well. Something's wrong.
She was tired, and she complained that her stomach hurt.
Check your pulse. And I started checking it. Magda says there's gas, and I call up the gas company. I said, my wife is violently sick. She's got a headache. She's thrown up. She smells gas. Therefore, I'd appreciate somebody coming out.
When I heard that lady on TV explain the symptoms she had with the pounding in her head, I turned to my husband and I said, do you think that's what happened to me?
You know, probably so.
They had a problem with carbon monoxide poisoning.
That scared me. The kids were in the house long enough to get as much carbon monoxide or more as my wife did. I was speeding. I was praying, Lord, please let them be alive. I knew myself that my kids was dead. Nick! Dominic! Dominic! Dominic was half on his knees. He started crying, just laying there. He didn't know what was happening to him.
Marquita, come on. Come on, stand up for Dad.
And they were like semi-conscious, intoxicated with the carbon monoxide.
Come on, baby. Queen.
Within minutes of a neighbor's call for help, units from the Moline Fire Department arrived, led by Fire Captain Dave Jetton.
We were approached by the father of the children. He informed us that he had the children out. I sent 2 firefighters over to check on the kids. Carbon monoxide poison is very dangerous. You're never aware that it's actually taking place. It's odorless, it's tasteless. You just don't know when it's there.
All 4 children were taken to St. Louis Children's Hospital and put under the care of emergency physician Douglas Carlson.
These children had very high levels of carbon monoxide when they were taken from the house. The delay of even a half an hour in the father getting home could in fact have led to the death of 1 or more of the children.
2.5 years later, the Murphy family shows no ill effects from the incident. Every year, thousands of people suffer carbon monoxide poisoning.
I would advise anyone that's moving in a new house to have whatever type of heating system, to have it checked by a professional.
I wanted to thank the lady on TV. She explained how she felt so good, and it clicked so well with me. If we had not watched Rescue 911, we would have died.
Each time you see that program, that memory comes up. I love my wife and kids, and I thank the Lord. He answered prayers.
Dear Rescue 911, what I learned from your program saved my husband's life when he was a victim of sudden cardiac death on our vacation in Florida last year. I had never taken a CPR course, but had seen it done many times on your program. We were able to get him out of the pool and give him CPR until the EMT units arrived. My husband was actually dead from a cardiac arrest, and we brought him back to life. Although we have not even thought of returning to Florida, we know that our opportunity to do so again sometime exists only because of your show. Thank you, all of you. More than my husband or I can ever say. Sincerely, Ellen E. Ellis.
So the ABCs are next: airway, breathing, and circulation.
Courage isn't something that can be taught, but we can learn life-saving skills and gain the confidence of knowing what to do in an emergency. On March 10th, 1992, in Salcedo, Missouri, 73-year-old Mary Cantrell had invited her grandson and her 2 great-grandchildren over for a dinner of their favorite home-cooked foods.
Grandma's fried chicken.
We were having fried chicken with all the trimmings. Grandma's always been an excellent cook and always cooked a full-course meal with every meal she ever had.
How'd you do in school today, Michael?
Pretty good. It was just like any of the other nights. The meal was complete. I got up, did my normal routine that I do with my kids of giving them their hugs and kisses and wishing everybody bye and see you later.
Twice a week when David went to class in the evening, he left his grandmother to look after his children, 8-year-old Michael and 11-year-old Mary Beth.
I helped my grandma with the dishes for a little while and went into the living room and watched TV. Me and my brother heard my grandma in the kitchen banging on the counter, and we turned around and her face was real blue. She was gasping for breath, and I knew I had to do something. And Ribas said, "Let's go," and she told me to dial 911. She was holding on to the counter and just trying to get her breath, but she couldn't get her breath. Grandma! I was afraid she was going to die. I had saw people on Rescue 911 doing the Heimlich maneuver, and I just thought that that's what needed to be done to my grandma. I got a busy signal on 911, and then she said, "Let me try it." And then I started doing the Heimlich maneuver. I was just scared that my grandma could die right in front of me, so I hung up real fast and told Michael that I was going to go get a neighbor. I was so scared because it was just me and Grandma. I was scared that she was going to die. I just wrapped my arms around her and started pulling. And I just kept doing it. You okay? It just flew right out into the sink.
Miss Cantrell, are you all right?
When we came back, Michael had done the Heimlich maneuver, and the piece of chicken that my grandma was choked on came out.
I was proud of what they had done, and I was surprised because Michael and Mary Beth had never been trained in the Heimlich maneuver. And when I asked them about it, they promptly informed me that what they had seen they'd picked up off Rescue 911. But nothing can substitute for actual classroom training, where you can understand the do's and the don'ts of providing first aid. Everyone here know how to do the Heimlich maneuver? You ever done it? Ever seen it on TV? I've been involved in emergency medical services for about 15 years. I've always felt like educating smaller children was not really a good thing to do. But after having seen what Michael and Mary Beth have done, my attitude has changed. And I think a child is capable of picking up and learning anything that you can present to them. Okay? You want to bring that hand in and up, right back towards you. How many times are we going to do it?
Until it comes out.
Comes out.
I'm just so proud that words can't tell. Unless somebody saved your life, you don't know how to express it. But I think they're great.
My grandma could be gone right now, but she's still with us. And if my brother hadn't have done that, she probably wouldn't have been.
Okay.
I heard this godforsaken scream, and it was Bob, and he had Angie in his hands. He had found her in the pool.
And I said, call 911, Angie's dead. She's drowned. I didn't have the faintest idea what to do. Nothing. I was lost.
And I felt so helpless because there was nothing I could do. There was nothing Bob was doing what he could do. And I was really scared, real scared.
I laid her down on the ground, on her back, and I tried to breathe in her mouth. And water came out her nose and splashed me in the face. Once that water came out, I figured I'd try the breathing again. This time I bent her neck back a little bit, pinched her nose off, and I started breathing. And, you know, I could see her chest go up and down. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Then she started squirming a little bit. I put my ear down to her chest again, and there was the heartbeat. And the paramedics walked in the gate at that very moment. I always watched 911, but I didn't know I was watching this show and learning something at the same time. But I'm sure that gave me enough confidence I could do what I did. No question about it.
That Bob gave her mouth to mouth made all the difference in Angie's life. I have a lot to be thankful for. We're a family again. We got our little girl back.
The action taken by people who happen to be at the scene of an emergency can make the critical difference whether or not a victim lives long enough to get to medical care. On the afternoon of September 24th, 1991, 17-year-old Stephen Boland was at his parents' home in Fairfax, South Carolina, when his friend Ricky Grubbs made an unexpected visit that would change their lives forever.
"17-year-old Ricky came by at around 4 o'clock.
Hey, man, what's happening?
I was over there at Steve's house just talking to him, and Steve noticed my mom's gun, so he asked to see it. He was just pointing at the ground the first time, and then shot it, and it didn't go off. Then he pulled the hammer back, and then shot it, and it didn't go off again.
This thing can't be loaded. Yeah, it is easy, man. I just shot it twice.
Stephen's 19-year-old brother Michael was inside the house when Ricky ran and told him about the shooting.
Hurry up, come on outside.
I didn't know whether to believe him or not. He said, it's not a joke, it's not a joke.
Stephen shot himself. God, man, what happened, man?
There's so much blood on the ground. I thought he was dead then. I remember seeing on Rescue 911 put pressure on the wound, stop the bleeding.
He knew exactly what to do. Mike told me to put pressure where the hole was, where the bullet went in, which I did.
While Ricky applied pressure to the wound, Michael ran to get his mother, Billy Joe, and call for help.
You gotta go tell him I stopped the bleeding, but you gotta go!
He said, Mama, I've stopped the bleeding. And the urgency in his voice, then I knew that it was something bad. I felt like I was in slow motion and I couldn't get there fast enough. I was paralyzed with fear. I was so afraid for him. And I looked and saw all this blood, and I said, this is my child, and he's going to die.
Breathe. Just keep breathing. Can you hear me? He's not saying anything. He's not saying anything. Breathe, man. Is he moving? Breathe. No, he hasn't moved.
All I thought of was, I've got to get blood back to his brain. I've got to, somehow.
Hold on, man. You're going to be fine. Breathe. Breathe.
Ricky had his hand in the spot that Michael told him to put it. And I don't know how much blood he lost, but I knew that it was enough that if we didn't get help, he wasn't going to live. And I started saying, praying to God. I said, God, do something. You can't let this boy die, not my baby.
Before the paramedics got there, I was trying to get him to, squeeze my hand or something. I was telling him to hang on, yelling at him to stay.
Michael held his arms up and he said, buddy, whatever you do, come on, buddy, don't leave me.
Within 10 minutes, the Allendale County Rescue Squad arrived on the scene. Stephen's condition was critical. He was quickly loaded into the ambulance for transport to the local hospital.
All I could think of was, my child, he's going to die. And I don't know what to do. I just said, I don't want to lose my baby. I don't want him to go like this. This isn't right. This isn't his time. It's wrong. He shouldn't die before me. You know, nobody should lose their child.
The bullet had severed the right internal carotid artery in Stephen's neck and lodged near his spinal cord. He was partially paralyzed and unable to breathe on his own. Stephen's father, William, arrived as his son was being loaded into the helicopter to be taken to the Medical University of South Carolina for emergency surgery.
From that point, and the ride from Fairfax to Charleston, I was hopeful, but I was afraid. I didn't think that I was going to see my son alive.
"17-year-old Stephen Boland was hospitalized for 3 months. He continues to undergo intense physical therapy to regain full use of his left leg and left arm. In the years since the accident, he has made remarkable progress.
I remember I couldn't move anything, and I was just so scared I was going to be like that for my life. And to me, that would probably be worse than death. I know it'll take a lot of hard work to get it back, and that's what I plan on doing.
Several things were done right in this case. The people with him knew what to do immediately to get direct pressure on the gunshot wound as soon as they found it. If he had lost maybe 1 or 2 more pints of blood, he might have had a much worse result.
Afterwards, I was just in shock. I felt I was to blame. But I came out of hospital, and he said, I know it wasn't your fault. And that really made me feel better.
Guns are, in my opinion, bad things. That's a touchy subject, but it'll take a life as quick as you can blink your eyes and keep them out of reach where accidents won't happen.
As a nurse, I know that had it not been for Michael learning how to apply pressure to a wound that he watched on Rescue 911, Stephen very well could have bled to death. That was a very, very important part, one of which we will always be grateful for.
Steve, whoa, here. Wait a minute. Mike, come over here quick.
It was 2 years ago in May. I came out to get the clothes off the line. I pulled out the sheets that had fallen underneath the deck, and when I did, I pulled out a whole nest of bees and hornets. They were flying down my shirt, stung me all over the side of my neck and into my shoulder. Just at that same time, Joseph had come around the corner to the back.
I see my mom get stung by bees.
I couldn't breathe. I was swelling up. My mouth was swelling up. My throat was swelling up.
She told me to go in and get a cold face cloth, and instead I went in and called Rescue 911. They said, tell me your address and phone number and tell me where you live.
He said Holden, but did not know the number of our house. What they did tell him to do was listen for the sirens and tell them when he's getting closer and closer. And when he saw him come by, he waved to him and brought him right up to the back where I was.
They came and helped my mother.
I was told later that I could have died with the anaphylactic reaction that does kill people. After this whole episode was over, I asked him, why did you call 911? He said, because I knew my mommy was sick and she was hurt and she needed rescue. Well, how did you learn how to dial 911? Well, every Tuesday, that is his favorite show to watch. At 8 o'clock, he parks in front of the TV and we all watch the show. Joseph saved my life. He's just my little hero.
As parents, we have to decide at what age our children are old enough to begin learning basic life-saving skills. But we tend to underestimate their capabilities, as Stephen Walker discovered on the evening of April 20th, 1990, while spending an evening alone with his 5-year-old son, Stevie, at their home in Indianapolis.
Here you go, Steve. I'll take those, put on the tape, and I'll be down in a minute, okay?
I've been leaving the two of them alone together since Stevie was born, because Steve is a very doting father, and he's very watchful. He was going to cook, and they were going to go downstairs, and they would have a good time.
There you go. One more last bite, guys. One more. There you go. There you go, Piggy.
I heard the crash, and I turned around, and I just thought that was playing a game. Dad? Dad? I go, Dad, and he doesn't answer. And then I say, are you playing a joke? And he doesn't respond there either. Dad, are you playing? I noticed that his lip was playing on the side, and I said, uh-oh, it's not a joke. I know it was all up to me, and my mind said, if you want to be good and to be pretty special, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Stevie's call was taken by Marion County Fire Dispatcher Susan Latham.
Fire dispatcher. The caller began to state that his father had fallen down the steps and was not moving. Okay, Stevie. I realized at that point that I was talking to a child, and I realized that he was there by himself. I said, Stevie, if you do exactly as I tell you to do, I can help you through this until the fire department gets there.
Rescue units were immediately dispatched to the scene.
I knew that he had not called his mom at work. He had not called his grandparents. He had immediately called 911, and that is very crucial. Can you tell me if he's breathing?
I took my fingers and put it right between his chin and his nose, and I felt air coming out, so I knew he was still breathing.
Okay, now I need to know if he's bleeding. Do you see any blood coming from anywhere? He said yes, there was blood coming from his head. The fact that he did have a head injury, that he was unconscious, that he wasn't moving, those are all very serious symptoms that you can put over where the blood's coming out to help control the bleeding. My biggest concern was that he remained breathing until the fire department got there, but Stevie was so respondent to me, I had total confidence that had he quit breathing, Stevie would have been able to deal with that too.
Okay, guys, what you got?
EMTs and an advanced life support unit, including paramedic Jim Glad, arrived to help treat the victim.
He had a 3 to 4 inch laceration to the back of the head as the result of his fall down a flight of stairs. We weren't sure what the extent of the head injury was at that time.
Don't give me a hard time. Easy, bud.
If his father had remained unconscious, he may have very well bled to death or lost a considerable amount of blood to have endangered his life. So the time factor was very important. And as we were leaving the scene, realizing he's the one that had called, I get down on my knees, patted him on the shoulder, and said, if you're the one who called 911, you did a fine job. You probably saved your father's life.
Steve was taken to Community Hospital East, where he was treated for multiple brain hemorrhages and released 8 days later. It's been 2 years since the accident, but Steve Walker will never forget the night his son Stevie came to his aid.
I was very lucky that he was as intelligent as he was, and that he handled it with the calm and cool of a pro.
You think you'll drive one of these days?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He certainly saved my life, and there's a debt there I can never repay.
130. I can go faster than that. I'm thankful that my dad's still here. We spend a lot of time together now because if he ever has another accident, I'll be there for him.
The show had a major effect. I think it took the scare away from him of facing an emergency.
I remember lots of times when Stevie and Dad would sit around and watch Rescue 911, and then to find out that he called 911 from just watching it, it was just amazing.
If 911 would have never been on the air, I probably would not be here on the face of the earth today.
Five-year-old Stevie helped save his dad's life because he knew all about calling 911. When do you call 911? When?
When something's wrong, like an emergency, like when some kind of accident happened.
Yes.
Let's say your big brother was throwing a party and it got out of hand and someone started a fight or something. You would call 911.
Have you had a big brother?
Yeah.
Does he throw parties? Yeah. Do they get out of hand?
Yeah.
Have you called 911?
No.
Anybody else?
When somebody's having a heart attack.
What do you tell the dispatcher when you call 911? Yes.
Your address, your name, what happened.
When don't you call 911? You right there.
When you're trying to pull a prank, like a prank on the phone or something.
False alarm kind of thing. What would happen if you made a prank call? Yes.
You'd call it, and they'd really think there's an emergency, and they'd come all the way to your house, and somewhere across the town there's somebody really in trouble, so they have to go back to the station and back all the way to the other house, and it might be too late.
Good answer. Not all communities have 911, so learn the emergency numbers in your area and post them by each phone. As parents, we have to decide at what age our children are old enough to begin learning basic life-saving skills. But we tend to underestimate their capabilities, as Stephen Walker discovered on the evening of April 20th, 1990, while spending an evening alone with his 5-year-old son, Stevie, at their home in Indianapolis.
Here you go, Steve. I'll take those, put on the tape, and I'll be down in a minute, okay?
I've been leaving the two of them alone together since Stevie was born, because Steve is a very doting father, and he's very watchful. He was going to cook, and they were going to go downstairs, and they would have a good time.
There you go. One more last bite, guys. One more. There you go. There you go, Piggy.
I heard the crash, and I turned around, and I just thought that was playing a game. Dad? Dad? I go, Dad, and he doesn't answer. And then I say, are you playing a joke? And he doesn't respond there either. Dad, are you playing? I noticed that his lip was playing on the side, and I said, uh-oh, it's not a joke. I know it was all up to me, and my mind said, if you want to be good and to be pretty special, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Stevie's call was taken by Marion County Fire Dispatcher Susan Lauthan.
Fire dispatcher. The caller began to state that his father had fallen down the steps and was not moving. Okay, Stevie. I realized at that point that I was talking to a child, and I realized that he was there by himself. I said, Stevie, if you do exactly as I tell you to do, I can help you through this until the fire department gets there.
Rescue units were immediately dispatched to the scene.
I knew that he had not called his mom at work. He had not called his grandparents. He had immediately called 911, and that is very crucial. Can you tell me if he's breathing?
I took my fingers and put it right between his chin and his nose, and I felt air coming out, so I knew he was still breathing.
Okay, now I need to know if he's bleeding. Do you see any blood coming from anywhere? He said yes, there was blood coming from his head. The fact that he did have a head injury, that he was unconscious, that he wasn't moving, those are all very serious symptoms that you can put over where the blood's coming out to help control the bleeding. My biggest concern was that he remained breathing until the fire department got there, but Stevie was so respondent to me, I had total confidence that had he quit breathing, Stevie would have been able to deal with that too.
Okay, guys, what you got?
EMTs and an advanced life support unit, including paramedic Jim Glad, arrived to help treat the victim.
He had a 3 to 4 inch laceration in the back of the head as the result of his fall down a flight of stairs. We weren't sure what the extent of the head injury was at that time.
Don't give me a hard time. Easy, bud.
If his father had remained unconscious, he may have very well bled to death or lost a considerable amount of blood to have endangered his life. So the time factor was very important. And as we were leaving the scene, realizing he's the one that had called, I get down on my knees, patted him on the shoulder, and said, if you're the one that called 911, you did a fine job. You probably saved your father's life.
Steve was taken to Community Hospital East, where he was treated for multiple brain hemorrhages and released 8 days later. It's been 2 years since the accident, but Steve Walker will never forget the night his son Stevie came to his aid.
I was very lucky that he was as intelligent as he was, and that he handled it with the calm and cool of a pro.
You think you'll drive one of these days?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He certainly saved my life, and there's a debt there I can never repay.
130. I can go faster than that. I'm thankful that my dad's still here. We spend a lot of time together now, because if he ever has another accident, I'll be there for him.
The show had a major effect. I think it took the scare away from him of facing an emergency.
I remember lots of times when Stevie and Dad would sit around and watch Rescue 911, and then to find out that he called 911 from just watching it, it was just amazing.
If 911 would have never been on the air, I probably would not be here on the face of the earth today.